Excuse me? Did you just ask what was BGK Network for? I'm glad that you asked. Let me get the number up because I know you're going to call. So BGK was founded by Michael. What happened to the number? The number's at the top of the screen now. But anyway, get the number. As I was saying, BGK Network was founded by... It's at the bottom of the screen. Really? Really? Okay. I'm sorry for calling you Michael. Apostle, just put me back where I can talk. Just put me back, please. Wow, some people are so sensitive, right? But seriously, what you just saw was a sample of what Apostle Michael Dulaney and Evangelist Tiffany can do through virtual ministry with BGK Network. They founded BGK to help people like you and myself to put the gospel out around the world. It's a great opportunity. I do encourage you to call the number. It's more affordable than you think. Give them a call. I did.
BGK 24/7 Online Christian TV Network. Making what was once impossible, possible.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of In View with Sam DiNardo. Sadly, DiNardo's still not here, but I have another amazing guest with us today, Dr. Debbie Lassiter, who is the Executive Director of Convergence Resource Centers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and a dear friend of mine. Debbie has an amazing program that she's going to talk to you guys about today. But first of all, for all those dads out there, happy Father's Day. We are so happy to have you tuning in here. Hey Debbie, how are you?
Hi Sam, so great to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And of course, I join with you in wishing those dads a happy Father's Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to celebrate Father's Day and to see all the dads out there working with their kids, because we know, statistically, it's very significant when dads play a part in the lives of their kids, and it definitely makes for a better environment.
Mm-hmm.
With that, as you know, our Dads Against Trafficking program works to support your extremely important work of HEMAD. So I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about how HEMAD came to be.
Well, HEMAD is Human Trafficking Educators with Men and Boys to Stand Against the Demand. And HEMAD came about because we felt that the men wanted to take a stand. We work with the women often, we are providing support for them. But men started saying to us, what can I do? How can I take a stand? And we wanted a visible stand. We wanted something more than you just telling people in small coffee talk groups that you stood against human trafficking. We wanted men to have an opportunity to make a visible stand and then continue to have something with them that sparked conversation around the issue. Because we found that men were largely unaware that some of the behaviors that they participate in feed that industry of human trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, stopping the demand is critical, right? Because we can all agree that if the demand doesn't exist, that the supply doesn't need to, and it will naturally shrink. It's economics 101. And so this is so important to get the word out. And this is now in its, how many years have you been doing this now, Debbie?
So
3, 4?
at the level that we're doing it now, we're hitting like our 4th or 5th year because it was much smaller before and we had a small concentrated, but now it has blown up, and over 65,000 men have taken that pledge to say that they take a stand against human trafficking. But we want to see that number grow way more than that because it has such an impact on the women when they see men taking this kind of a stand.
So, what is your goal for this year?
Our goal for this year is going to be 70,000. We're going to go up 5,000, so we're going to go up to 70,000. And one of the reasons for us doing this is because it's important to every woman, for every man to take this pledge, for every man to say, human trafficking is not okay on my watch, no matter where you are, no matter what country you're in, what state you're in, whether you're rural or urban, it really doesn't matter.
No, for sure, right? And, we appeal to you guys out there today watching this, that you will talk to your, fellow brothers and, speak to your friends, your family, the men in your lives, and ask them, how important is it that people don't buy other people for sex or labor trafficking? And in particular, why it's important that you are the ones asking each other to take this pledge, because it is super important that the men stand together in unison on this.
Yes.
And Debbie, you've had some amazing, results from this. Do you have any sort of stories you want to share?
Sure, I'd love to. One of the first stories that was really impactful to us, one of the first years that we did this, we had men come into our center and actually take the pledge. But along with taking the pledge, we do a little bit of education for them, have them watch a video to give them an idea of what this is. And we had men actually becoming very emotional, some of them to tears, because they had no idea that me going to a strip club, I thought those girls were there because they wanted to be. Me participating in commercial sex, we thought they wanted to do that. And then seeing the other side of it, where how the women are actually being treated. Now, I do want to clear up one thing, that traffickers or people buying sex or buying other people can be male or female. It is just that males are the largest part of the commercial sex trade customer base. And so we're just starting with you. We're not saying you're the only one. So we want to make sure that's clear. Another thing that we saw happening was fathers would watch the video and take the pledge with their sons. And so we had 12, 13-year-old boys sitting there with their dads and then taking the pledge. And then going back to school and telling their friends. So the schools were calling saying, hey, what is this? Can our boys take this? We had whole schools in other states taking the pledge. And then some of the other impactful things were the reaction of the women. As you know, in our office, a lot of the women that work in there are survivors. And they had seen one side of men and had formed one opinion of men. But when they saw men taking their stand and then agreeing to wear the wristband so that it caused people to ask them, what does that mean? They then were emotional and in tears because we didn't know men would stand up for us like that. So this is a great thing because it shows both sides, the side of the support and then the strength of the men. Men are the leaders, they're leading, and we need them to lead in this. So we implore you, men, yes, please join this.
I mean, I think one of the most impactful stories that I have with this HEMAD pledge actually started at Super Bowl several years ago in 2017 when we were in the parking lot of the strip club, and a young man pulled in his car, and one of our youth pastors who was there actually walked up to the gentleman's car and just, we don't normally accost people in parking lots, to be fair, but
Right.
in this case, we felt led to say something to him.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out that the young man was a youth pastor who was going into a strip club for the first time. And he was kind of nervous, and he wasn't sure that this was what he wanted to do. But he had some different trauma in his life, and he was feeling extremely down, extremely lonely. And our outreach team actually prayed with him in the parking lot, and he chose not to go in. And we have been providing accountability, support for him for some time. He has now gone back to youth pastoring, and he now has his high school boys take the pledge every year to make sure that they also hear this story and know how important it is and how people can change in an instant to make a different decision, right? And I think that's important about about this. So what we'd like to do now is actually play your video, Debbie, and then you can lead folks in the pledge after you've told us a little bit about the video. So if we can bring up the video now, please.
It's found in every community, big and small, and available with a swipe of a smartphone or a click of a computer, and it's hiding in plain sight. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is the second largest criminal enterprise in the world, and it's a crime that occurs in every country, every state, and every community, in big cities, in suburbs, in small towns, tribal lands, and rural areas. Its victims are young and old, men, women, and children of all races and ethnic groups. Human trafficking is a crime happening in every community. By joining together, we can stop it. HEMAD, Human Trafficking Educators Working with Men and Boys to Stand Against the Demand, was designed for men to take a stand against sex trafficking. It provides a way that individuals in every community can show their support, help free the victims, and lessen the demand. Victims of human trafficking are subjected to force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of sexual exploitation or forced labor. Sex trafficking is a sex act induced by force, fraud, coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act is under the age of 18. Sex trafficking represents 80% of all human trafficking. The victims that are the most vulnerable are runaways, homeless youth, LGBTQ youth, youth of color, victims of previous abuse, children in the foster system, the disabled, or those financially impacted by COVID-19. Adults also are victims of human trafficking. Among the targets are those with substance abuse, mental health problems, or the economically disadvantaged. 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders annually. 70% are females and 50% are children. 300,000 children are at risk of being trafficked each year in the United States. Each person being trafficked sees an average of 30 clients per day, 7 days per week. During COVID, many were trafficked to cover basic needs like rent, food, or personal safety. More than half of the criminal human trafficking cases active in the U.S. were sex trafficking cases involving only children. Trafficking can happen anywhere. Unfortunately, incidents of trafficking are underreported, and statistics on how many people are actually being trafficked are difficult to come by. Men are leaders in our society. They are the largest part of the customer base for the commercial sex trade. They need to lead in saying no to this scourge. Join the thousands of men who have already said, "I'm taking a stand against sex trafficking." Go to convergenceresource.org and register on the HEMAD page and take the pledge. Then share a link to the website on your social media and ask men to join you and take the pledge. And share with us pictures or videos of you and other men standing up and taking the pledge. It's important to every woman, teen, or child victimized by human trafficking for every man to take this pledge, because the more people know, the more they're empowered to stop human trafficking.
Thank you, Debbie. That's such a great video. Across the bottom of the screen, folks, is the website that you can go to take the pledge. You can obviously, the one in the video on convergence.org, or you can go to rahabsdaughters.org. Both of these pages have a place for you to take the pledge. But if you'd like to take it right now, Debbie is going to lead you through the pledge. If you do go ahead and take it right now, please put some comments down that you've done that, or pop on our website and let us know that you've done that, because we want to rejoice with you. Debbie,
Yes.
would you like to lead folks through the pledge, please?
Sure. And you can just repeat after me. I'll say a line and then you can say a line. Even though we can't hear you, please still say it. So it says, I pledge to educate men on the importance of ending human trafficking. We of HEMAD pledge to work to eradicate the business of human trafficking for our women, for our men, and for the world. It is my duty to not stand by and let the industry of human trafficking benefit off the back of the innocent. Therefore, I pledge my heart, mind, body, and spirit to the eradication of an industry that seeks to destroy life rather than build it up.
Thank you so much. And we hope that all of you were able to take that pledge today. And we look forward to hearing from all of you who were able to do that. And, please share it with your friends, share it with your family. One of the best things that you can do for human trafficking is to talk about it, guys. Is to talk about it with each other and to discuss it, and to discuss if you are participating in the purchase, then let's discuss that too, right? If you're watching pornography, let's discuss that too. I mean, Debbie, you and I were talking about the fact that Pornhub in the first weeks of COVID went up to 50 million subscribers within a month. It took Netflix 20 years to get to 50 million subscribers. Something
Wow.
Pornhub did in the first weeks of COVID.
Yes.
And pornography is a gateway, right, to human trafficking. Because the challenge is that if you are watching pornography, there is a very high chance that the folks who are performing the acts on video that you're watching aren't doing it by choice. And I know, Debbie, you've had experience with survivors in this. I'd love to hear your experiences.
Oh, I want to take it a step even farther back than that. These bachelor parties, and you go into strip clubs thinking this is innocent and thinking these people are doing it because they want to. Without fail, every woman that walks through our doors that has been involved in human trafficking started at strip clubs. They started dancing, and it was supposed to be innocent. But the way that they run that industry is that eventually, in order to make any money in it, you have to participate in the commercial sex trade. Because they may start out dancing and just paying a small fee to dance, but then the things go up. If you want the bodyguard to protect you, if you want to get your money at the end of the night, if you want to do this, you got to pay this fee, this fee, this fee. And before you know it, you got to work in the executive room if you want to be able to take home any money. And people who get into the dancing thinking, I'm just doing this to make money for a living, really find themselves entrapped there. And all traffickers, without fail, take their women to these strip clubs, these bachelor parties. and you're having a private party, and you go to somebody's house, they're having a private party, and they're bringing in girls and or boys and men. You need to start asking yourself, where did they come from? Because yes, there are people who choose to, but a lot of times they don't. And I guarantee you, if she's looking like she's under 18, she probably is.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely one of the things that we hear the most from men is that, well, I thought that she was here because she wanted to be. Um, and I especially hear that for men about adult women, right? Where they are
Hmm.
talking about, well, if they could have, well, they're adults, they could leave if they want to. What do you say
Hmm.
to folks who do things like that?
Well, I start first with the education of fraud, force, or coercion. Fraud, you understand I lied to you. Force, you understand I inflicted physical pain. But coercion, I tricked your mind into believing that you wanted to do it. So we have to realize that that is present in human trafficking. And if you see a woman with somebody's name or barcode tattooed on her, she's not there because she wanted to be. Because those tattoos are telling you a story a lot of the time. And you know, I don't. The shaming doesn't seem to help people, but the thought process of, if this was your daughter, would she really be doing this because she wanted to? Start there. Don't start at, oh, she's doing it because she wants to. Start at, what got her there. Was she really doing that because she wants to? And the other side of it is, in most states in the United States, it's illegal anyway. So you're participating in an illegal industry and trying to justify it by saying they did it because they wanted to. I would say education is going to help you, but I would say if you keep those things in mind that I just said to you, you might start to look at that different.
No, but for sure, right? As you know,
Mhm.
someone who was trafficked at in my teenage years, I can honestly say that after the first trafficking incident, I allowed myself to be trafficked several more times, but
Mhm.
mostly because I didn't think I had any other choices. I had no
Right.
education. I hadn't
Right.
graduated high school. I didn't feel like I could go back to my family because I was facing so much guilt and shame
Yes.
from these
Yes.
incidents. And I think that a lot of that is what traffickers prey on, right?
Mhm.
And they use
Yes.
it to make us feel like we don't have other choices. And so, for any women out there who are watching this, if you need help, folks, we are here to help you, and that
Yes.
you don't have to listen to that, right? You can call Convergence, you can call us, you can go on our websites, and we are here to provide you with assistance. But for all the guys out there that are watching this, please know that if this was your mother, your niece, your sister, would you feel the same way? Right? Because
Mhm.
everybody's
Right.
someone's daughter. So,
One of
um, definitely important.
One of the things, most impactful things that a survivor has ever said to me was that I'm starting to feel human again. So I don't know what it feels like to not feel human. But when you consider that you could be sitting across from a person who doesn't feel like a human being, it's going to seem like they're doing it because they want to, because they don't have the frame of reference of feeling like a human being anymore. And then to know that the acts that you are taking, yes, you have free will. You have free will to take those acts, but do no harm. If this could be causing harm to another human being, just take a step back and think about it. Men were saying to us they had no idea that what they were doing was contributing to the pain of another human being. And realistically, because of the way things are in our society, where they're taught that this is okay, where they're taught that, men are still buying their sons a girl for their birthday. I mean, we're still thinking that that's okay. We're still thinking if our son is womanizing women, that that's okay. We got to stop sending that message, because that message then normalizes this behavior. And when this behavior is normalized, nobody sees anything wrong with it. I mean, back in our day when I was growing up, you had the Mac was cool, Goldie was cool, Superfly was cool. All these people were cool. What was her name? Miss Dolly on Gunsmoke and Huggy Bear. They were all cool, but they were all traffickers. Every single
Right.
one of them, when you look at the behavior they had. And we normalized it to the point that when Gunsmoke was coming on, the whole family sitting in the room watching Gunsmoke, co-signing what she's doing. And so we have to remember that our behaviors, we got to really examine what we've normalized. And that's what allows us to participate in these industries and go to sleep at night feeling okay.
Absolutely true. Now, Debbie, I'm just going to pivot in these last few minutes to something completely different. So,
Okay.
your agency experienced some trauma a couple of months ago, and I would just like for us to talk about that for a moment, because you guys really had a difficult time. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened and what's happened since?
Sure. We actually had a former client that was exposed for some of the things that she was doing to leave our agency and return with weapons and another man and break into the facility while myself and another employee were present, threaten our lives, and then vandalize over $25,000 worth of damage to our facility. That person to date still has not been arrested, but they are still working that out, I guess, in the court system. But what I want to say to that is the damage that was done to our agency and to our clients as well as our staff is a work in process, because our staff had anxiety, nightmares, and so did our clients. And then she continued to harass our clients and staff in a way like a trafficker, texting them saying, say bad things about Dr. Debbie, say bad things about the agency, and then, say good things about me. Come on, boo, I need you to do this for me. And so that's trafficker language, coercing people. But then the beauty of it all that happened was the community, including Rahab's daughters and our friends from Illinois and Indiana, came in and helped us restore the center so that we were only closed for one day. And that impact was amazing. I want to say thank you to your audience and to Rahab's daughters and all of the people who are listening that participated in helping in whatever way you did, to continue to pray for us. But a big thank you for all that you did. Satan really meant it for evil, but God used it for good. I mean, that is actually what happened.
I mean, we were going to say, it's a thank you to you, Debbie, for pivoting that so fast, reopening to serve your constituents. And, we just want to thank you for standing up through all of that. We know it was difficult, and, great work to you and your team for getting everything back into the community that came around to help you. And thank you so much for being here today. To all of you out there, please tune in to the BGK Network to watch more episodes of In View. We look forward to seeing you next time. Visit our website, rahabsdaughters.org, for more information. Thank you so much.